What's good, everybody? Welcome to Back to the Block podcast with your host, Anthony Alston. I am super excited to start this series with you guys. It's been in the work for a while, and I know you guys are going to enjoy it. Here, we're going to be taking it back to the block where our story began. We're going to revisit feelings of uncertainty that we experienced when we lacked guidance, skills, and mentorship. Despite the challenges, minimal resources, and adversity that we faced, we had to start somewhere. The belief in ourselves was put to the test when people doubted our dreams, goals, and ambitions. We faced constant reminders that only a small percentage of athletes make it to the top, and now it's time to tell our stories and inspire the next generation. This podcast is for us. This is our platform. Let's take it back to the block. On this episode, we are joined by a San Diego legend, Juco state champ to an overseas vet, Mexico national team, Euroleague player, and an overseas champion. The story is still being written, but tune in and find out the super abnormal route he took on his rise to the top. A real point guard who can do it all on the court. And someone's game I've been admiring for a while now. Let's give a round of applause. Let's welcome Alex Perez to the show. All right, man, back to the block podcast, man. I got a San Diego legend here, man. I've been trying to I say this every episode. I've really been trying to get this guy, man, as someone I admire just from the city, as a point guard, and just a real underdog story. I'm just curious to see the mindset and how you took this path. So AP, man, what's good? Talk to me, bro.
What's good, my guy? Man, it's been a long time. We go back to the high school days, man, playing against each other. Uh, I've always admired you as well. I see your journey. I see the struggle. I see everything. So salute to you too, bro.
That's love. And yeah, and I forgot that I've been following because just the Juco brothers, like that's a different type of brotherhood. So I mean, anyone that makes out of Juco, they good in my book. So we finna
Yes,
get
sir.
into
Yes,
it, man.
sir.
So like you said, you mentioned you got to go in the hour, man. You're mid-season or preseason right now? Not mid-season, but you start
Yeah.
season or you guys preseason right now?
Yeah, we actually just started. We're 2 games in. We're 2-0 right now.
Nice.
We got a big game this weekend against a EuroLeague team, Fenerbahce.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, we're just getting it going. It's a long season, but we started off pretty good, so that's always good.
Fenerbahce. I know that's your old club. Is there any more added motivation to it, or it's just another day in the office for you kind of thing?
And it's definitely some added motivation for sure. Um, I always try to play little scenarios in my head. Maybe they're false, I don't know, but sometimes I just try to add little things in my head. Maybe this team didn't want to sign me back, or they got this player making this much, or whatever it is. I always try to motivate myself a little bit more, find that little extra. Um, so yeah, it's definitely some motivation, but at the same time, you gotta not be so emotionally invested in it to the point where maybe you're a little more anxious or you're a little more angry or energized. You just kind of, I try to just stay even keeled, but keep that motivation in the back for sure.
That part. So what's a typical day looking like for you out there?
Sure, right now, wake up, get some breakfast in, go to practice, and then I'm pretty much free the rest of the day, man. We only got one practice a day. We might have weights, maybe some film, and then practice. I got a lot of free time, man. Sometimes too much free time. So finding out what to do with that free time is always the big part of it.
Yeah, contrary to people's beliefs, like overseas basketball, obviously we're busy. We have stuff to do, but there's a lot of downtime, and I've realized that uh, just like from a mental aspect, you don't want to be too wrapped up in basketball. So obviously you need to watch film and be in on your craft and stuff. But like at the end of the night, I like to watch something besides basketball, listen to whatever. So how do you spend your free time? You watch Netflix? You got some favorite shows, or like what do you like to do to unwind and
Yeah,
stuff like
I'm
that?
I'm just I'm a big YouTube guy. I play music all day, bro. So I might just be listening to some music, chilling, be on Instagram a little bit. I try to read a little bit, trying to get more into some reading.
Mm-hmm.
Little Netflix here and there. I watched that new Jeffrey Dahmer. I know everybody's seen that, but yeah, I just be chilling, bro. My life is pretty boring, to be honest.
Hey, it's tedious, man. It's the same thing over. That's what the
Yeah,
greats do. But all right, man. Let's take it back to the block. So Chula Vista, Oak Lawn Ave, I believe. So
yes,
Otay Ranch
sir.
High. Talk about like your upbringing and what it was like. Because for like typically speaking, San Diego's not so much a real basketball city. And where you're at in particular is even so much so because you guys are not on the outskirts, but y'all are way out there, like right on the border,
Mhm.
Southern San Diego, I believe. So just kind of talk about, how you got into basketball and just what it was like growing up out there.
Yeah, I mean, actually, before I even started playing basketball, I actually played hockey. That
Wow.
was actually my first sport growing up. My brother played hockey, and I kind of just followed him. Um, so probably about, I would say, 8 to 9 years old, I started playing basketball. Um, like 9 years old was my first organized, club team, AU team. Um, and then from there, I just fell in love with the game, just kept playing. Um, but yeah, my brother and my dad probably really, really got me into hooping. Um, yeah, I mean, I don't know how far you want me to go. I don't know how much you want me to tell.
Nah, just
Yeah.
like when did you, like, you feel me, you dedicated your game to the when did you dedicate yourself to basketball and you're like, this is kind of what I want to do. I know I need to work out this X amount of time. Like when did you kind of go all in type of thing?
So all in, it's crazy to say, but I would say probably after my junior year of high school is when I was really like waking up early before school, going to the gym, going to class, and then after class going back to the gym. Um, but yeah, uh, I was kind of hanging around the wrong people like early on in my high school years, and it kind of set me back. 'Cause I
Mhm.
mean, I don't know if you remember, but I missed my whole junior year of high school playing basketball. I was just doing the wrong things, not going to class. And after that, I kind of took like a good look at myself, like, hey, come on, bro. Like, you can't end up like so and so. You can't end up like
Right.
this person, the people around you. Um, so after that, I would say after I was probably 16, going into 17, is when I really started taking it serious.
And what did you average your senior year, if you remember?
Um, Probably like 26 or 27.
Yeah, because you're a class of 11, which is a class older than me. And, I played with Johnny
Hmm.
D. So he was the number one scorer at 32. But there was this kid, Alex Perez from Otay Ranch. I'm like, bro, there's no hoopers at Otay. Like, who is this? And then I think it was SD Fast Break with the handle. So they started giving you some foot and stuff like that. So we was able to see more and more. And then you just had a complete game. Like it was just easy. The balance was there. Like everything was just tying in. You started rocking with Dream Vision. And then it was just more on the radar and it was just more of like a known thing. But when did you start rocking with Dream Vision and what did that kind of do for your career? Because if you didn't play your junior, obviously that means we didn't have grades. That's why we took the Juco route, which we're going to get into. But let's talk about Dream Vision. That's a big, big, big time program, especially at that time. That's like them once.
Yeah, I would say I think I think I was a junior, maybe like in the summer going into my senior year when I started playing with Dream Vision. Um, it was cool. It was a good experience. I got to see some of the players like at the highest level. Like I had Norman Powell on my team. I had Angelo Cho. I had number one player in the country, Shabazz Muhammad,
Mm-hmm.
uh, Winston Shepard, Evan Rockamore. These guys were the best in my class. Or Shabazz was a year younger, but these guys were number one. So it was good to see, that level and play at that level. To be honest, I had some good games with them. Sometimes, I didn't play that much, or sometimes I just wasn't killing, and it was another like, hey, these guys are right here. These guys do this. You got to try to get to this level. So it was a good experience. Um, and I actually stopped playing with Dream Vision, and I started playing with SDA for a little bit
Yeah,
also,
yeah, yeah.
to finish out my AAU career, and that was good too because I got to actually play, and then Norman was on that team with me too, so it was good to play with him and play my game. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I think I played y'all SDA and y'all smacked us. Y'all was pressing. So I'm like, bro, why y'all pressing? Like, just get full
The
court press.
AAU, bro.
That was not a fun game. I remember that game. So obviously you got some exposure playing with two of the top premier clubs in Dago, and they're even on the national scene as well. But Fresno City College is so there's obviously difference between National JUCO and Cali JUCO, we would say, but Fresno City College, San Francisco City College, and a few other schools are obviously predominantly really good and nationally known. But what made you decide on that school? And did you have any
uh,
kind of other options you might have been weighing at the time?
yeah, I mean, to be honest, coming out of high school, for the JUCOs, because all the D1s stopped messing with me just because they didn't want to deal with, a kid with no
Baggage
grades.
grades, yeah.
Exactly. And I wasn't like 6'7", jumping out of the gym, so sometimes they might make exceptions for guys like that, but for me it wasn't like that. I really had like I of course had probably like the San Diego JUCOs, messing with me for sure. But I really that I was talking to, I really only had like three JUCOs uh, that were really interested in me. A couple in Arizona, and then I had Saddleback, and then Fresno City. And I was actually supposed to go to Saddleback. I actually committed to Saddleback, verbally, of course. And I went to summer school there, and I was working out. And then I was only going up there like 2 days a week. So I'll drive from San Diego to OC, Orange County, and then I'll play like we have like two open gyms, so I play twice a week up there. Um, and then we had like a tournament, like a preseason tournament in LA. And I remember it just didn't feel right to me. I didn't feel like I was getting better. I just didn't like the vibe um, around everything. And it's no disrespect to Saddleback. It wasn't for me.
Right.
So originally I was at Saddleback, and literally after my last game of one of the tournaments, I hit up Fresno City Coach Ed Maddock, my guy, and I was like, "Hey man, like you still got a spot for me?" He was like, "Yeah." So long story short, I ended up going out there. Uh, One of the best decisions of my life, to be honest.
Yeah, and we're gonna get into that briefly, but so like I mentioned, the Arizona schools they can kind of offer like full ride and stuff like that. I'm not exactly sure how Cali JUCOs work, but I'm sure they don't do like full rides or whatever. You can kind of get some aid and stuff like that. But what made you not just take the little scholarship you could have got, maybe more exposure and a higher platform if you were going to leave SoCal anyways? Why not, take that route?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just I wasn't, to be honest. The location of because I was about to go to Arizona Western, and
Okay, I
it was
remember that.
kind of
That's
a
that's
weird.
that's where I went to that. So I know exactly whatever you're about to say. That's where I went to 2 years.
Yeah, so it's like I said, it just wasn't my vibe. Uh, and I kind of wanted to stay in Cali too. That's one of the main reasons I chose Saddleback. Was I was like, okay, it's an hour and a half from home.
Mhm.
My family can come and see me. Um, but yeah, and then I think after I chose Saddleback, Arizona Wesleyan was off the table. So I really only had Fresno City after that. So then I chose Fresno City.
Heard you, and you guys were doing your thing up there. Y'all was smacking teams and all that. So how was that? Like, how did that make you more of a dog? Because it's a different grind out there. Like, what was the lifestyle? Like, was there a lot of y'all in one house? Like, was it like Last Chance U? Because people have seen Last Chance U and they see the Cali side of things. And like I said, that was JUCO basketball, but like you feel me, um, Arizona Western now JUCO, we was in dorms. We had it a little bit better. So what was not better? We had an easier living style, I would say. But what was it like up there for you?
Sure, I would say we kind of had it better because we was living in apartments, bro.
Okay,
You know,
okay.
I know y'all was in the dorms, which is cool too, you know. But uh, we had like, so we had in my apartment, we had me and two other players. Right next door, we had three other players, and right upstairs, we had three other players. So it was like a 4 unit, and we had three doors. So 9 players in this little apartment complex building, I guess. Um, yeah, we got like most of the out of town guys like me. We had like a little financial aid help to pay for the rent, and so it was cool, bro. I enjoyed it. I'm living with my teammates. I got 6 other teammates right next to me, you know, so it was cool.
Basketball wise, I know you guys had some success. So just tell me more about what it did for your game and how y'all were doing as a team.
Yeah, I mean, as a team, we did very well, especially my freshman year. Our freshman year, I think we finished 33-3
Wow,
and ended up winning the state championship as the 4 seed, I think, or 5 seed.
that's tough.
Um, we were just we were just really a machine, bro. Our coach, you know, kind of brainwashed us into just coming together and not playing for yourself and playing for the team. Everybody knew their role, which is a big part of winning, as you know. And yeah, we just all came together. We had a great group of guys. You know, everything that you need on a championship team, we kind of had. So, um, what was the other question, bro?
Nah, you touched on everything.
Yeah, yeah,
So what did so obviously you had some success and it was like a second chance. You got to retry out your grades, just get back on the radar and get back on the D1's maps and all those good things. So I know you had committed to a university and then you decommitted and just started your pro career. So just talk about that whole thing because like just outside looking in, I'm like, all right, we're about to go, and then all of a sudden just signing we overseas with Mexicali. So let's talk about what transpired if you want to go into some detail about that.
yeah. I was I signed my scholarship to University of Southern Mississippi.
Mm-hmm.
Um, they were coming off a good year. You know, they were in the at the time the CUSA. I think they had like Memphis, and I guess Memphis was like the best team in that conference at the time. So yeah, I signed my letter of intent, my scholarship. Um, I just had to finish 2 classes in summer school to get my degree, my AA degree. So I'm probably like halfway through, um, and it just all felt kind of like forced upon me. Like I was grateful, that a school still wanted to sign me and
Mm-hmm.
recruit me, and and have me at their program. But at the end of the day, the school thing was never me. Like just keeping it 100, it was never me. Uh, I really just wanted to hoop, and uh, kind of just made my own decision as a man. I was like, um, it's not what I want to do, and uh, and looking back at it, it's kind of crazy. Like, damn, you had all this, and because I didn't really have a backup plan, bro. I know I wanted to play pro, but I didn't have like a path. I didn't know how to get there, and thankfully, I had uh, a Mexican coach. He was one of our assistant coaches. He played in Mexico, so he kind of put me on. He kind of plugged me with the agent, and this agent pointed me in the right direction, and the direction was Mexicali, and then it's kind of history from there, bro.
So when you started, did you have a because obviously it's still pro, it's still an investment, whether you're was it domestic, whether you're one of their heritage or not. So did you have to like do like a trial or anything, or was it just like they kind of just took that chance on you?
Yeah, well, um, nah, cause me being Mexican, I'm a local player out there, so I would say it's a little easier, to get your foot in the door if you have that passport. Um, nah, I had like a highlight tape, they seen the highlight tape, they liked it. Um, so yeah, I pretty much just signed right after that.
They seen a Mexican with bounce. They was like, yeah, yeah, bring Bull over here.
We
when
ain't
did you
seen that before.
when did you not for real? When did you get bouncy though? Like when did that happen? You had to work for that. It was kind of natural, would you say?
Mm, I'd say I had to work for it a little bit. I was always naturally pretty athletic. Um, I feel like I was more so fast and laterally quick rather than like jumping in the air. But I worked for it for sure. And I would say probably when I started to kind of mature a little bit, probably like 16, 17, I started to get a little bouncy.
Heard that. So like we said, you started your career in Mexicali and you played all over the world now, places like Mexico, Venezuela, Israel, Argentina, Latvia, Lithuania, and Turkey. So we're gonna get into more of that as the show goes on. But as you started in Mexicali, your rookie year, what was the difference between? So you went from JUCO to pro. So just what was the difference in physicality, speed, details? What would you say it was? The adjustment you had to make.
Um, yeah, I would say definitely the speed and the physicality and just playing against grown men is probably the biggest part. Um, 'Cause I say, my first year I was 20 years old, so I wasn't even able to, buy a beer in the US before I was playing against guys that are 28, 29, 30, 34, whatever the case may be. 10 years pro, 8 years pro, I'm a rookie coming in. But I always kind of had that chip on my shoulder, like, I'm here. I'm trying to get to the next level. I'm trying to make more money. And so that's kind of always what motivated me was always trying to get to a higher level.
So your first championship, I believe it was your third season,
Second,
second season.
yeah.
Soles de Mexicali. What was
So
that? What was that feeling like? Winning anything is obviously incredible. It's hard, takes dedication and all that stuff. So just what was that fulfilling feeling like? Just the path you took and to finally like be a winner and it kind of all paid off for what it was at the time. What was that
yeah,
feeling like?
it was a great feeling for sure. It's anytime you put your heart and soul into a season, to a team, into anything, and then when you see that dream or that goal come true, it's always like, damn, like, did I really do this? I'm so grateful for this happening to me. And it was just a lot of emotions for sure, especially knowing what I've been through and the path that I had to take to actually get to that point. Um, it was really cool for me.
And then you also got the call to play for the national team. And I know that's an honor in itself. Um, was that on the same level or bigger or better than winning that title? Or would you say it's kind of different vibes?
Um, it's a little different vibes. Um, it's always a big honor to put that Mexico on your chest. Um, Even though I'm not from Mexico, but um, I have family from Mexico. My dad is from Mexico. All his family is from Mexico. So for them to see me with that Mexico on my chest, it was probably really big for them too.
For sure. So you mentioned you wanted to, make more money and just keep rising as a player in the professional ranks. But what was that deciding factor to where you're like, okay, I need to move out of Mexico, or I need to propel this for my career? What went into that, and where was your first country after that? Well, no, I'm sorry. I think it was Venezuela, but what made you go to a whole different market?
Like the European market.
Yeah, exactly.
Um, well, I think my time in Mexico, I kind of did everything. I went to like 2 or 3 finals. I was like first team in Mexico. Uh, kind of did everything that I needed to do there. And the next step was trying to get to that next level. And my game is like, I have like a European game. I'm real unselfish. I know how to play the game. I got a high IQ. So the transition, it wasn't easy, but I knew, well, I didn't know, but my agent knew, I could make that transition and be successful. So it was just the time. I did 2 to 3 years in Mexico. I played in Venezuela, Argentina, and then after that, I made that jump to Europe.
And before we move on from Mexico, you played with Juan, right? JTA?
One,
Yeah.
yeah, JTA, yes sir.
So I know that's your boy. What was how proud of you and how crazy it is seeing the trajectory of what he's doing right now. I've met him a couple of times.
Man,
He's super cool, super humble. And I don't even know,
so,
you've known him long, so it's just crazy. I want to see what you got to say about that.
yeah, I mean, Juan is he's a great role model. I would say he's a really good role model for not only the kids in the U.S. and especially his hometown in Oakland, but the kids in Mexico too. To see where he started. He started in Mexico as well. He started in Mexicali, and
Mm-hmm.
he I really respect him, not only for the person he is and what he's done, but that he really took a gamble on himself. Um, he could have went overseas. He could have, made solid money overseas, had a good year, maybe play in the Euroleague. But he had bigger goals for himself. He wanted to play in the league, so he went to the G League. He grinded it out. He did what he was supposed to do, and it paid off for him. So Juan knows, man, how proud everybody is of him, how proud I am of him. And it's nothing but respect.
That's love, bro. So, like I said, you got into the European market, and then long story short, you end up in that EuroLeague, which is the premier league in the world. Like CBA has the most money outside of the NBA, but I wouldn't say it's the best basketball. But EuroLeague, in my opinion, is up there for sure. So I don't know if it was your first season or not, but long story short, preseason you playing against the Sacramento Kings, and that's got to be surreal in itself. Playing NBA arena, playing NBA talent, just from where you came, like we're discussing. So, what was that whole thing like? Like you playing Ben McLemore, I think Boogie and
Aaron
IT.
Aflalo,
Yeah,
yeah,
IT was on that
Darren
team.
Collison. No, I think it was Darren Collison
Okay.
or Ty Lawson, um, Rudy Gay, Cousins. I can't remember
Yeah,
anybody
that's
else.
crazy. What was that like? I mean, because you out there again, bump. I was tuned in, like, nah, this is crazy. This is crazy.
Yeah, no, hey, I was locked in for that game, bro. I'm like, I'm trying to kill. I'm trying to kill. I don't care if I miss a shot. I don't care if I turn it over. I'm trying to kill. So, um, I would say one of the craziest parts was coming out to warmups and you got 7 people rebounding for you, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're getting your shots up, bro, for sure. You're getting your shots up, and and yeah, just being on the court, bro, is just like, man, it's just crazy, bro. It was actually the first game in their new arena
Mm.
um, that they currently play in now, and it was just cool, man. It was cool to have some of my family there. and for them to see me on the NBA court was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. What would you say the difference between the NBA and EuroLeague between like just from that game? Like they're just bigger, or what would you say was a difference?
Well, just it's really a different game, bro, because the in the NBA, you can't be in the key for 3 seconds on defense. So the court is just like wide open. Like coming off a pick and roll in the NBA, the big is always going to play mostly flat. So you got a lot of. I mean, now it's a little different, but when a few years ago when I played against them, like it was DeMarcus Cousins, so he's just flat. He's dropping down. You come off the pick and roll. It's really just making the shot. If you can make the mid range, the pull up, or get into the lane, then you'll be all right. But overseas, there's so many different defenses. Teams are preparing for you maybe more, during the regular season than they would in the NBA, just because there's less games and the games mean more. But I would say the court is just so much more spread, so much more wide open than overseas. Probably the biggest difference.
I heard that. So, like I said, you're a dog. You've obviously been doing your thing on every level you go to. That's why you keep getting contract after contract. So I just want to talk about some of these big games that you've had. I want to know which was bigger in you or which game meant more type of thing. So 36 points versus Afion.
Yeah.
Afion, 64% from the field, which is insane. Or your 33-point performance versus Unix.
Unix, yeah.
Which game would you say meant more or just was bigger? Was a bigger game. Like they both were close games. That's why they're both notable. Like they were 6-point difference, or like it came down to the wire. So overseas basketball, that's like a championship, whether it's just a regular season game. So just kind of which one would you say like was that?
I mean, the Affion game was good, because we won, and it's a tough place to play. In Turkish league, every game is very tough, whether you play the top team or the team in last place. So anytime you can get a win in Turkish league, it's a good win. I would say the Unix game, I had a little bit better highlights in that game. Like I did more shit in that game, you know what I'm saying? So I would say that one, but we ended up losing that one. So it's kind of hard to put it above, but it was definitely Unix is like one of the best teams in Europe, and it was a Euro Cup game, so it was definitely a big game for me for sure.
What's the difference between Euro Cup and EuroLeague?
Some Euro Cup teams, the top Euro Cup teams, they can compete in the EuroLeague, but the EuroLeague is just like a different level, bro. It's just, it's some teams, like when I played for Fener, we had like 11 imports, 12 imports. So, yeah, you're literally just, it's the best basketball players in Europe, on the court. There's no rules. You can only have 5 imports, 6 imports, or whatever, and it's like the little things, bro. Like the attention to detail from Euro Cup and EuroLeague. And EuroLeague it's like multiplied by just 10, bro. Like the pressure, the expectations, the players you're playing against. I would say it's just a higher level. I don't really know how to say it. Just you can tell a difference from a really good EuroLeague team and a really good Euro Cup team for sure.
Could be one player, could be multiple, but who's some of the best players you matched up against overseas? Could be EuroLeague where you're just like, Not that you didn't have an answer, but after the game, you was like that was tough. He's like that.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I was kind of talking about this recently with some of my teammates. Like we were going around like, who's the best European player, you played against? And for me, like one of my favorite players and that I like to watch and play against, is Nando De Colo.
Mm-hmm.
He just always under control. He's really like a machine, bro. Just and I played with him at Fenner too, so I got to see kind of like, what he does, how he works out, what he does before the game, the week of the game. So I got to see a little insight of how he moves, and my respect just grew like, tenfold for him. But a sleeper that a lot of people don't know is Bobby Dixon. You know Bobby Dixon?
Yeah, come on, man.
Bro, Bobby got a game, bro. Bobby is probably one of my favorite players, like
Okay.
ever, bro. For real. Bobby got a game.
That's tough. Yeah, I admire a lot of point guards like Pierre, Mike.
Hmm. Hmm.
Just my favorite like Russ Smith, like just guards that play fast and like I can kind of emulate. But I'm gonna tap more into. I didn't really watch Bobby's film. I know who he is, but I'm gonna really see what his game really like.
Yeah.
So
Go back to like when he was playing before Fenner, even at Fenner too, but before Fenner when he had like a bigger role. Like when he was playing for some other Turkish teams, Karşıyaka, KSK. He was killing, bro. He led his team to win the Turkish league that year. They beat like Fener, Efes, and he was killing, bro.
that's
Bobby's tough,
tough.
bro.
Hey, do you have a Turkish passport?
Nah, I just got American and Mexican.
So where did this new last name just come from?
Shit, actually, it's my mom's maiden name. Um, and when my grandpa passed away, I just threw that on the back,
Okay,
showed him some love.
that's love. So we're about to wrap this up shortly here, but what are some things that you're kind of like working to improve on your game? So for example, maybe this past summer, what is one thing you went back to the lab and kind of honed in on?
Yeah, uh, I would say just I probably been trying to get my pull up right. Uh, sometimes teams will go under me, or sometimes teams will just kind of live with me making a jump shot just because I can get in the lane.
Mm-hmm.
And so probably just I've been working on my pull up a lot, trying to get that money. Uh,
Is that kind of shooting behind the screen, or you still would get to a spot although they go under?
um, yeah, sometimes if they go under the first one, like fuck it, just shoot it. They try to punish them, and
Mm-hmm.
then even just like coming downhill off a screen and hitting that like elbow or mid range pull up was probably that's probably the biggest focus I had this year.
Heard you. And no shade to any clubs, but what was the best experience or most not professional, but what was kind of that club where like you loved that time there for whatever it was worth?
Mm, you know, I've had the opportunity uh, to be with a lot of good clubs. Um, I don't really have anything bad to say. I can't say uh, this team didn't do this team didn't do that. Um, I would say, I really enjoyed my first year in Turkey with Banvit. They're not a team anymore. They folded, but
Mm.
uh, just from the staff and the teammates I had, um, we all gelled, we all meshed. So it was a comfortable place for me. Of course, Mexicali is always home. It's always love there for sure. But even now, even the spot I'm at now, I got everything I need. If I need something, I can ask. They're showing love for sure.
All right, so before we wrap this up, man, Does your team have any rivalries right now?
Mm,
Not
no, I
necessarily.
don't think so. Yeah, because the team I play for right now, they uh they just came up from second division. They won the second division last year. Um, so nah, I don't think no like Fenner versus Gala or like you know Besiktas versus Fenner and nothing like that. But um, we're more trying to like get that respect, honestly.
Yeah. So they moved up from second division. So they were in Europe Cup and moved up or not? Nah.
Nah, they were in second division Turkey, and then they won the championship. So the team that wins the championship moves up to the first division in Turkey. I'm only playing Turkish league this year, no Euro
Mm.
Cup, no
Okay, okay,
no
okay.
nothing. So we only got one game a week. Um, so yeah, so
Gotcha.
yeah.
So speaking of rivalries though, what are some overseas rivalries that you were in, or just like the biggest kind of game where it was just rocking or it was just like crazy atmosphere?
Um, yeah, rivalries. I can't say I was in too many like real rivalries, but I could say probably the most like lit atmosphere I was in when I was playing in Lithuania in Žalgiris. Um, I would say probably the game I remember the most is when we played Real Madrid. Um, and we was at home. We probably had like at least 15,000 people in there. Um, loud as hell, loud as fuck. I don't know if I can cuss, my bad, bro, but
It's good, you good.
it was real loud in there, and it's a different type of energy. Um, you really feel that energy, um, and you got to try to kind of calm yourself down,
Mhm.
focus and not be too excited, to the point where you're making, the wrong decisions. But I would say probably that game. It was a EuroLeague game. It was a big game against Real, and I actually played in that game. I did all right, did pretty good, and just the feeling of playing solid and in front of those fans and in the EuroLeague was probably cool. It was really cool for me.
So as you've been overseas and you kind of talked about the difference between the overseas game and the league, just briefly talk about why it's no surprise the success that Luka's having right now in the league.
Yeah, I mean, well, for one, he's 6'8", probably like two
Big
fifty, two
body.
sixty.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and he's a point guard, and he has the highest IQ on the court damn near every game with the green light. So it's like that combination is definitely scary. And even he said it himself. It's easier to score in the NBA just because of the rules. If you got all the tools and you know how to operate within those rules, you can. And if you got the talent and everything like Luca has, it's all there for you to take. Um, but yeah, I would say just that to give him all that time to make a decision and all that space is very dangerous, very dangerous for him.
For sure. So we just got two more questions as we wrap this up. You kind of talked about team goals, but I want to know some individual goals for yourself this season and what you're looking to accomplish.
Individual, I would say I don't want to put like I want to average this much or I want to average this number, but last year I had some good games. I had a solid year, but this year, I really need to turn up, and I don't know what those numbers are going to be. I don't know, you know, what exactly I'm going to average at the end of the year, but if I could just be locked in and play my game every game, it's all going to take care of itself. So I would say I would say just being locked in every game and just getting back to that old me where you know I'm going at everybody and I'm not backing down. Not that I lost it, but you know it's always good to go back and remind yourself of how you got to where you are. You know, so um, individually, I would say just go try to kill every game and just try to win every game. Try to be competitive in every game. Um, because being a pro, you got to learn how to lose as well. You know, you can't let yourself get you down. Maybe you have a bad game, or maybe you get blown out one game. You got the next game. You got to bounce back. You know, that's what being a pro is all about.
Exactly. And it's funny that you said like it's funny that you said like go back to the old me and blah blah blah. Cause I was thinking like for this season, I was kind of wired that same way. I'm like, I might go back to my old high school number. Like I just need that old dog, I just needed that back for us. So since you said that, like I turned up even more. Like I need to match bro energy on some Dago tip. Like we need to we need to turn it up, bro.
Okay.
All right, so like I said, thank you for your time. Your son, I always admired and hearing your story and just more details was incredible. I'm tuned in this year. I want to get you in some merch as well, so we're gonna talk and line that up. But the last thing that we're gonna talk about is I just want you to just give some words of wisdom, either talk to a young AP or just to the next generation on live basketball and just whatever you want to just tell the people.
Yeah, I would say uh, if I was talking to a younger me, I would say leave all the distractions to the side, man, and just try to really lock in and try to figure out what really matters. It's kind of hard for a young 15, 16-year-old who's kind of hanging out with the wrong crowd to tell them, hey, in 10 years, you probably won't even be friends with 95% of these kids. So I would say just stay locked in and try to realize that all the fun and, have fun, do your thing, have fun, but make sure you're taking care of what you need to take care of. Because that was my biggest problem is I wasn't taking care of what I need to take care of. I was more trying to do the stuff the cool kids were doing. So um, I would say just try to stay locked in as much as you can and try to learn from the older people, that the older generation and the people that have done what you're trying to do. So look at them. Okay, he did this. He's moving like this. He didn't go to this party, or he went to the gym instead. He did this. I would say try to learn from the people that have actually done what you're trying to do and listen. Listening is probably one of the biggest things that I had a problem with. I thought I knew everything. I thought I'm this, I'm that. I'm the best OTI Ranch. Man, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean nothing, bro. You're an OTI Ranch. You're the best player, okay? You're not even the best player in LA, you know? So I would say just listen, try to listen, try to accept what the older generation is telling you, especially if they've done what you're trying to do.
Heard you, bro. Some wise words, man. Make sure you guys share and subscribe. Leave a 5-star. We're streaming on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and Google Podcasts. That's a wrap, man. Thanks again, AP.
Yes, sir. Let me say one more thing, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say shout out to all the people, back home and across the world, that support me. I see everything, not everything, but I see, most of y'all. I just want to say I love you guys. I'm doing this for me, but I'm also doing this for y'all. So shout out to my boy, See No Money Club as well.
Okay.
Y'all go tap in. But yeah, just thanks for the support. Appreciate you too, bro. And I'm a big supporter of you too, bro. I always got your back. And anything you need, bro, let me know.
That's love, bro. Appreciate you, man. Good luck this season, and we'll be in touch, bro.
Yes, sir, bro.